All right, from Kansas City. Yeah. And I'm spending this week talking about James Kupapa Bell, and legendary baseball player from the Negro Leagues. And like I said in previous videos here, Kupapa wasn't somebody I read about in a book. Uh, I haven't been downloading articles from old newspapers just to learn about him. I didn't read about him in books. This is a guy that I actually knew. And so I've been kind of sharing some information that on stories that he told me through the years before he passed away. And these things go way back to the 1980s. So um, yesterday I told the story about Coop Hopper and Jimmy Lyons, and somebody asked if I could elaborate on that story just a little bit more. So I'm just going to spend just a little time today, and we're probably going to wrap up with Coop Hopper Bell on the weekend. But I want you to know who this guy is. An outstanding baseball player, a great human being, somebody who's an inspiration to me, along with his wife Clara Bell. Both of them helped me tremendously to get started when I was young. I was in my 20s, and I got a chance to meet him, and it really changed my life, and that's the reason I'm here today, talking about him, and I'll be talking about many other people who impacted my life. But the story I want to tell you about was the story about James Kupapa Bell, and he was noted as someone who could really run. And so Rube Foster came to Chicago with his American Giants, and he had a guy with him by the name of Jimmy Lyons. And Jimmy Lyons was considered the fastest man in baseball. And so Rube Foster wanted to see who was the fastest. This guy they've been talking about, this James Kupapa Bell, or the guy that he's been parading around as the fastest man in baseball, Jimmy Lyons. So they had a race. And Kupapa Bell, and I didn't explain this probably well yesterday, but Kupapa Bell had a pair of baseball shoes that cost $1.25. And Jimmy Lyons had some of those featherweight shoes. They were 22 bucks each, or $22 a pair, I'll put it like that. And so that's what he was wearing. So anyway, they had a race. And in that race, Kupapa Bell ran off, in his own words, he told me he ran off and he left Jimmy Lyons. So Rube Foster said, man, if you can beat that guy, my guy, and once again, I'm going to tell you a little about Rube Foster right as I close on this. But Rube Foster said, if you can beat my guy with $1.25 pair of baseball shoes on, then I'm going to take you and buy you a pair of these top of the line kangaroo featherweight shoes. So Kupapa Bell and Rube Foster went downtown to the sporting goods shop there, and Kupapa Bell got him a pair of those $22 featherweight kangaroo leather shoes, and then of course the rest is history. And so a couple of names in there. Once again, James Kupapa Bell. And so you can read up on him if you want to know more about him. There's lots of information, lots of wonderful pictures on him. And then, of course, Jimmy Lyons. Not as many photographs of Jimmy Lyons out there, but there are some. And, of course, there are many photographs of Andrew Rube Foster. And Andrew Rube Foster, who was the first president of the Negro National League, and he was also the owner of the Chicago American Giants team, which he started in 1911. I'm going to get into that. I've written so much about Rube Foster that I'd like to share with you, and I knew his family as well. So anyway, that is kind of the story that I wanted to share with you tonight. And I encourage you to look up these individuals if you really want to know something about the Negro Leagues. I think that, well, let me just give you a teaching moment. For me, starting off doing this history, I think the thing that separated me from people like John Hallway, who was going on, Jim Riley, those are some of the people that were around. Art Russ was around in New York, and there were a few other people out on the West Coast doing some things. And this is back in probably about 1982, 81. I'm a young man, and my whole passion was to go where these people were and to meet them, to go into neighborhoods, to go in communities, to do interviews. I didn't realize it at the time that these interviews were so important because I love to talk to people. I just love to talk to people. And so that's how I got so much of this information. I just went out and just talked with people about baseball, and people talked to me. And so that's how, I ended up being a baseball historian. So if you're a young person out here and you really want to learn about baseball history, you've got to go interview people, interview ball players, interview major league ball players, minor league ball players. Talk to people in your community. Watch a lot of baseball, not just on TV. Go out to games, sit in the park, in the bleachers, listen to what people are saying, and you will learn a lot. So that's what I encourage you to do, not to be one of these people who write a book and they sit around and they have never gone into any of these communities. They can't tell you anything about the inner core of St. Louis or the inner city of Kansas City or Chicago South Side. That's what I did. I actually went these places, and the people, when I got there, they welcomed me, they opened their homes, they opened their lives, they opened their scrapbooks, and they really put me on a different pace. And that's why I'm here today. So I'm going to thank everybody for listening today, and we're probably going to do a couple more segments on James Coop Papa Bell before we move away from this. But I'm going to go back through my files, and I have some great things. I'm going to talk about his brothers. He had a lot of brothers, and they all played baseball. He even had a sister, and he told me his sister was the only person who could catch his knuckleball. So you want to know about his sister? I have her name. And so I'll tell you some things he told me about her as well. So, and of course, I'll tell you some things about Clara Bell, his wife, and she was a great inspiration too. So thanks for listening today. And this is Phil Dixon. I'm going to sign off for now, and we'll be back. So if you like what I'm doing here, like and share. Go out to YouTube and subscribe. So let's keep it growing, and let's keep it going, and let's hear from someone who actually lived this history, not someone who, let me just put it this way. I always tell people, and I thought about this, because Satchel Paige used to say a thing. He used to say, I never had a job. I just played baseball. And for me, I always tell people, I don't have a job. I have a passion. And my passion is what I'm talking to you, and that's about today, and that's what I'm going to keep on talking with you about. And it's the passion of baseball, something I really enjoy and love dearly. So stay tuned, and we're going to have a good time. So I'm signing off for now. This is Phil Dixon, and we're talking Negro League baseball and more.